HowExpert! Top 10 Ocarina playing tips. HowExpert publishes quick how-to guides on all topics from A to Z by everyday experts. Visit howexpert.com to learn more. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more HowExpert top 10 videos in the future. Moving on, let's talk about the HowExpert top 10 Ocarina playing tips. Fun fact about the ocarina. The ocarina is an extremely sensitive instrument, meaning that very precise breath control is required, or else bad things like being off key and spitting into the ocarina can happen. Number 10, never forget about breath control. The ocarina is a wind instrument, meaning that it is powered by your breath. It is obvious that you need to learn how to breathe properly and control your breath output. As mentioned in the fun fact, blowing slightly too hard will make your notes go out of tune and you will sound like wailing banshees. What's worse is that if you have too much saliva and blow too hard, you end up shooting a stream of spit which falls out of the sound hole and onto your pants. Disasters aside, learning how to breathe is important. When playing, you can use both your mouth and your nose, but the mouth is the better option for accommodating advanced techniques. You also get more air into your lungs compared to using your nose only. The proper technique of blowing is not the same as putting out a candle. Instead, you say the word "to" and maintain the stream of air. If done right, you will hear a pleasant, neutral tone. A harsh sound is generally a sign of using the wrong technique. Number 9, work on finger dexterity. Ocarinas have any number of holes, from 4 to 20, the latter found in multi-chambered ocarinas for more advanced players. The more holes and chambers, the more notes you can play. However, you cannot hold the ocarina carelessly. Instead, you must train your fingers to be flexible and gentle while also being able to maintain a firm grip even when shifting around. If your grip is too stiff, it will slow you down, while a weak grip might let the ocarina fall from your hands and potentially break. An exercise to help with the ring finger is to put a pen under it, while letting your little finger and middle finger clamp it against the ring finger. If done correctly, the ring finger will be pointing upwards and the other two fingers pushing the pen against the ring finger. This strengthens the ring finger's muscles, allowing you to use it better. The proper grip will have you covering all holes completely or just half of a hole for certain techniques, and the ocarina will be parallel to the ground. Combined with how sensitive the ocarina is to your breath control, this is important to producing beautiful music. Number 8, exercise regularly. Exercising to play a musical instrument is very beneficial. Musicians in orchestras may not look tired when they play, but they do use up a lot of energy. They just make it look easy. Exercise is proven to increase lung capacity, allowing you to store more air for holding those long notes demanded by some musical pieces. Exercises that train your stamina, such as walking, running, and swimming, work particularly well. Swimming demands a lot of lung training, which directly transfers over to ocarina playing. If you're in better shape, breath control is much easier to master. You'll be gasping for breath too often if you don't exercise. Number 7, learn how to read sheet music, or tablature. Memorizing songs is easy, especially if you just want to play the Song of Time from Ocarina of Time, for example. However, learning how to read sheet music and/or tablature will benefit you in the long run. You don't have to struggle to pick up parts in complex tracks with multiple instruments. Instead, you have everything you need to play in front of you. Tabs are easier to learn as they are basically images of which holes to cover. The downside is that tabs do not include as much information as proper sheet music. Sheet music will have all the directions required by the composer or arranger. While you have some freedom, sometimes you must control your breath for certain volumes, tones, and techniques in the sheet music. It wouldn't be good if you're not in sync with the other members or your friends playing the other instruments, right? Number 6, ensure you have correct posture. Stand or sit upright or you'll blow. Pun totally intended. Having the proper posture is important if you want to sound good. The ideal stance requires you to be upright, relaxed, and facing forward. No slouching, tensing up, or twisting your body. Why? because you want the air to travel to your mouth as smooth as possible. The 3 don'ts mentioned will restrict airflow and affect your breath control. You might underblow, overblow to compensate for underblowing, or waste breath and energy. Always remember that the ocarina is very sensitive, and having ideal posture will let you play at your best. Besides, having an upright posture makes you look professional as well. Number 5. Learning to play higher notes properly. The ocarina is unique in that how you move your head also affects the pitch. The problem with certain ocarina designs is that higher notes tend to be harder to play, particularly 12-hole single-chambered ones. Without going into detail, having too many holes in the chamber affects the tone negatively. The solution? Look down a bit. No kidding. Beginner ocarinas are not as well made as higher-end ocarinas, and they might sound too airy when playing the highest notes. Tilt your head down slightly and pulling the ocarina closer to the chest. This technique is called acute bend. It will help with cheaper ocarinas, reducing the airiness. It is not required for every ocarina, but if your ocarina is very airy in the higher register, then you should use this technique. Make sure you practice enough so you can control your breath properly, as moving your head will almost always change the breath requirements. Number 4. Improving your sense of rhythm and tempo. You might be able to play pitch perfect, but if you play off beat, everyone can feel it. Don't want to see the audience squirm? You should keep time. Most musical pieces have a constant tempo and time signature, unless you happen to play something more complex. Regardless, you should use a metronome. You don't have to buy one, as there are free websites and apps for the same purpose. However, most metronomes have features such as playing a certain note for instrument tuning. This allows you to tune yourself to the right pitch as well, improving your note accuracy. Back on rhythm and tempo. The metronome is a great indicator if you play too fast or too slow. As the metronome plays at a constant tempo, you can reduce the number of mistakes you might make. Getting used to the tempo also allows you to time your breaths and control your blowing much more consistently, given the sensitive nature of the ocarina. This way, you can even play the piece without the need for a metronome. Number 3. Tapping your foot to set the rhythm. What happens if you don't have a metronome or you're performing live? No one wants to hear the beeping, so you should be your own metronome. Standing or sitting, you can tap your foot to set the tempo. This is a great technique that allows you to keep time. With repeated practice, you will be able to maintain the steady tempo the piece demands. Even if there is a tempo and time signature change, you should be able to switch accordingly. Tapping should be done with the ball of your foot, as using your heel is not as discreet. Depending on your preference, you can use one foot or both feet. Like fact number 4, this boosts your breath control. Combining the metronome and tapping your feet ensures you get the correct muscle memory with repeated practice, allowing you to perform as best as you can. Number 2, learn different genres of music. Sure, you can only learn how to play songs from The Legend of Zelda, but there are so many genres of music out there that the ocarina can work well with. Ocarinas are mostly found in folk music and video game soundtracks. However, jazz, blues, classical, baroque, and even pop can be played on the ocarina. Jazz ocarina has a unique sound and style, demanding different skills such as improvisation and chord control. Some classical and baroque pieces adapted for ocarina playing offer new perspectives on those pieces. Learning different genres of music allows you to be a flexible musician, and you get to cater to all sorts of listeners. Tired of playing classical piano? Play Fly Me to the Moon for some jazzy spice. Different genres require you to adapt, and your breath control must always cater to the genre you are playing. Being precise with your breath control will help a lot in adaptation. Number 1, practice, practice, and practice. No pain, no gain. No practice, no mastery. If you don't practice, then mistakes happen often. The point of practicing is to reduce the chance of making mistakes. Many musical prodigies practice their instruments for more than 8 hours a day. Most of us aren't like David Eric Ramis, who plays the ocarina for a living, so at least half an hour a day will do. Even starting at 10 minutes a day and gradually increasing practice time helps. Practice your scales, musical exercises, and a few pieces every time you pick up your ocarina. Scales are important, especially the C major scale, as most ocarinas are tuned to the key of C. Try to have a routine when practicing as well. If you don't practice, you won't be able to play the ocarina well, as it is sensitive and amplifies the slightest mistakes. Keep practicing and you'll sound good eventually. If you liked our video, be sure to click like and subscribe for more HowExpert Top 10 videos for all topics from A to Z in the future. Also, let us know what other celebrity or any topic that you want us to do a HowExpert Top 10 video in the future in the comments below. Thank you, have an amazing day, and take care. HowExpert publishes quick how-to guides on all topics from A to Z by everyday experts. Visit HowExpert.com to learn more.